Question number 11. What is the value of 12 and 1/6 minus 3 and 3/8 minus 5 and 2/3 plus 20 and 3/4? I think the best strategy to answer this expression is by estimating. So if you combine 12 and 1/6 and 20 and 3/4, what do you think is the answer for those two numbers? 12 and 20, that's 32. That means if you combine these two, that's approximately 33, right? Now if we combine the two negatives, negative 3 and 3/8 and negative 5 and 2/3, that will be a negative approximately negative 9. So that means we're expecting that the answer is approximately 24. So I'm almost 99% sure that the answer here is 23 and 7/8. Now let's simplify this expression using the concepts of least common denominator or the LCD. 6, 8, 3, and 4. So the LCD for this will be 24. 24 can be divided by 6, 8, 3, and 4, and that's the smallest number. So the first step is to change each of these fraction with denominator of 24. So that means the first fraction needs to be multiplied by 4. So this will be 4 over 24. The second fraction, 3/8, we need to multiply by 3 to get that to 24. So we have 9 over 24. The third fraction needs to be multiplied by 8. So we have minus 5, and that will be 16 over 24. The fourth fraction needs to be multiplied by 6. So we have 20 and 18 over 24. The easiest method to simplify this expression now is combining first the both positive fractions. So 12 and 20 is 32. If you add 4 24ths and 18 24ths, that is 22 over 24. Now I will also combine the two negative fractions. If I combine these two fractions, that will give me negative 8 and 25 over 24 because I need to add 9 and 16ths. Simplifying the second fraction further, 25 over 24 is 1 and 1 over 24. So I will rewrite this now as minus 9 and 1 over 24. Copying the first fraction, we have 32 over 22 over 24. Now we can simplify it. We can subtract 1 24ths from 22 over 24. That is 21 over 24. Subtracting the two whole numbers, 32 minus 9 is 23. Do you notice anything? Yeah, so we can simplify the fraction 21 over 24 by dividing this by 3, or you're reducing the fraction. So the answer is 23, and 21 over 3 is 7. 24 over 3 is 8. So the answer is 23 and 7/8. And that is correct. Our prediction based on the estimation is correct. Question number 12. The vertex angle of an isosceles triangle is 20 degrees. What is the measure of one of the base angles? So a couple of things. Conceptually, you need to understand what an isosceles triangle is. So when we say isosceles triangle, this means that the two sides are congruent. So these two sides of the triangle are called the legs, and these two sides are equal. Now, which one is the vertex angle? The vertex angle is this angle right here, and that's going to be 20 degrees. These two angles are called the base angles, and these two angles will be equal. Now, a triangle has how many degrees in all? 180 degrees, right? So now we need to subtract 180 minus 20. That is 160 degrees. That means the sum of these two base angles is 160, and they're equal. So what do we do with 160? Divide by 2, right? So that means that each angle here would be 80 degrees. Again, when we say isosceles triangle, that is a triangle with two sides congruent, called the legs. That means also that the base angles are congruent or equal. Another important thing that you need to remember is that when you add the three angles of any triangle, it should always be 180 degrees. That is why we subtracted 180 minus 20, that's 160. And then we split up 160 between the two base angles. So 80 plus 80 is 160 plus 20, that gives us 180 degrees. Question number 13. Anna and Beth do a job together in 3 hours. Working alone, Anna does the job in 5 hours. How long will it take Beth to do the job alone? We need to set up an equation to solve this work problem. For Anna, we know that working alone, she can finish the job in 5 hours. So if she works for an hour, that means she can complete 1/5 of the job. For Beth, we don't know the time it takes her to finish the job alone, so we will use x. If Beth works for an hour, then we can put 1 over x for her. And working together for an hour, that means they can complete 1/3 of the job. Solving equations like this with denominators 5 and 3 and x, we simply multiply the denominators 5, x, and 3. So 5 times 3 is 15, times x is 15x. That means we need to multiply each of the fraction by 15x. So 15x times 1 is 15x. 15x divided by 5 is 3x. Plus 15x times 1 is 15x. Divided by x is 15. 15x times 1 is 15x. Divided by 3, we have 5x. Solving for x, we subtract 3x to both sides. So now we have 15 is equal to 5x minus 3x is 2x. Now we divide by 2, so that means that it is 7.5. So Beth can do the job alone in 7.5 hours. Question number 14. How much greater is the sum of the first 50 counting numbers greater than the sum of the first 100 counting numbers? I think that this math problem from the Math PRC release question is poorly constructed. What we're trying to ask in this problem is to compare the sum of the first 100 counting numbers with the sum of the first 50 counting numbers. To find the difference between these two sums, we're simply getting the sum of the numbers from 51 up to 100. The reason for that is for the first set, sum of the first 50 counting numbers, that means that's 1 all the way up to 50. For the sum of the first 100 counting numbers, that's 1 through 50. And then we also need to include 51 all the way to 100. So we need to find the sum of the numbers from 51 to 100. And that is an arithmetic sequence because the number increases by 1 each time. So to find the sum of an arithmetic sequence, we need to use the formula n over 2, a sub 1 plus a sub n. In this arithmetic sequence 51 to 100, this means that n is 50 because there's 50 terms. A sub 1 is the first term, so we have 51. A sub n is the last term, which is 100. Simplify it. 50 divided by 2 is 25. 51 plus 100 is 151. So now we need to multiply 151 times 25. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry 2. 5 times 1, 5 plus 2 is 7. Now we need to multiply with 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 5 is 10. Carry 1, so this will be 3. So the answer is 5773. So the sum of these numbers 51 to 100 is 3775. and that is letter B. So now, make sure that you memorize the formula for the sum of arithmetic sequence n over 2, a sub 1 plus a sub n. Question number 15. Which of the following has the largest value? In this question, we can use the process of elimination by comparing the bases and the exponents as well. So first, let's take a look at options A and C. Do you notice anything? Both choices have the same exponents of 5, but choice A has a bigger base of 8 compared to 6. That's why C now is eliminated. Now looking at options B and D. Option D is the same thing as 3 squared because that's the 9 to the 4th power. And using the laws of exponents, this is the same thing as 3 to the 8th power. Comparing 3 to the 8th power with B, both have the same base of 3, but the powers are different. B has a larger power, which means that B is larger, so now we can also eliminate D. So now we have a 50% chance of getting the right answer. Now let's focus on options A and B. 8 to the 5th power can be written as 2 to the 3rd power to the 5th power, which is now 2 to the 15th power. Letter B cannot be simplified further, so that is 3 to the 9th power. Here, these two options have different base and different exponents. But if you look at the bases, the base are almost the same, 2 and 3. But the exponent of 2 is way bigger compared to the exponent of 3. So here, the answer should be letter A. And you can always check this by multiplying 2 by itself 15 times and 3 by itself 9 times. And it's going to be a long process. Thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing to my channel at Celzo Academy.